let's get started. Okay. So whenever this will be more of an interactive session. So if anyone, I'll be asking, because there is no chat box here, I'll be asking mostly yes or no questions. And if there's, if your answer is yes, you may raise your hand like this. Okay. And if not, then anyway, keep your hand down. So okay, so let's get started. First of all. Is my screen visible?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Okay. So, one second. Okay, so let's start. My screen is visible, right? Okay, so we'll be starting with Git and GitHub and introduction to open source. So, how many of you know what is open source? Okay.
Open source can be something which can be used by all.
Okay, and what is Git? What is GitHub? How many of you know?
It's a type of software or means website where we use repositories and to work upon some projects with other people.
Okay, yeah, that's GitHub. That's nice. And that's right. But and what is Git? Anyone? Anyone whoever knows the answer can unmute themselves and say, what is Git? Anyone? Okay. So let me only answer it. So Git is, as the jargon goes, it is a version control system software. Okay, so now what is version control? Okay, so now all of you have made projects and not projects as in any assignment or whenever you type any document in Word or maybe in a presentation, you make some changes and then you think that maybe I should have done something else to make it better. So what would you do in such a case? You would control Z, that is undo, and then you would make some other change, and then you like that is what you would do most probably. And otherwise what would you do once, and now if you have to get, and now say you made some changes. Okay, you first typed out something. Well, let me actually type out something. So say I am writing this is some code. It may not be a code that you are making changes into. Say that this is a text file. uh, can everyone see my IDE VS code?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is just a very plain HTML document, a web document with practically nothing in it. So say that now I make some changes like uh, I say that I will like to introduce myself as I am electrical undergraduate. Okay, so now okay, let's open it with live server. Okay, so this is just I am an electrical undergraduate. Now I decide that no, I would have wanted it to be something else. I am electrical part 3 undergraduate. Okay, and so now I made this change. So now what if now when I'm constantly now what if some other time I decide that no, whatever changes I made, okay, I want to revert them. I don't want it, I wanted some other changes. Okay, and I did not, and I don't want the changes what currently this thing is. So what would you do in such a case? I mean, when you want to make sure that what you are doing. Okay. Okay, so there is a message box also here, so you may type out your answers. Okay, so my question is now when you start something, when you write a document or so, and in midway you think that some previous change that I had made, I would like to go with that. Then what would you do? How would you solve this issue? That okay, so Control Z, yes. Now see what will happen with Control Z. Now if I have made now with this thing, I'll do Control Z. I got electrical undergraduate. Now from here, now if again I think that no, I wanted part 3 electrical. I had written part 3 electrical, right? See, I had written part 3 electrical. Now how will I get that? If I'll Control Z, then it will just go back. So how will I solve this issue that arises? Because yeah, okay, so save its copy. Now this is the obvious reason. Now what will happen if this was a small document, but what will happen if it is the documents are very large? Like when you'll go into production, okay, when you'll actually go into when you'll handle large files or when you'll actually go into production, then what will happen? Your files will be like thousands and maybe lakhs of lines of code. Then saving its copy for everything, it's just memory waste, right? So what you will, so one better way would be to save the copy of just the files that I have changed or just the lines that I have changed, isn't it? So say I changed, like as I showed here, I just changed one line here. Okay, and the line that I changed, you can see it is in green here on the right hand side. Left hand side, it is marked in green. So see the line that so what if I can just save this line, okay, as in a separate place and remember that uh, in one of my changes I have just changed this one line. So this way I'll be able to handle uh, multiple things properly, wouldn't I? Okay, so now if I were to do all of this, then I will have to remember and then manage all these things. What if I will do it through a software? That is to say, that is how Git comes in. Okay, so Git is version control system, and what is version control? Now, as you know, when there are so many versions of so many softwares. Okay, so what version is that sometimes a version is released, then they make updates because software can have bugs. Software usually has bugs, so they will make the changes. Yeah, okay, you can make a comment. Okay. Well, but still, it's not, you'll have a lot, it is not memory efficient if you have to make lots of changes. Okay, uh, so Git is basically a software. It is a version control system. Now, this is a big word, but what it actually does is that it will track the changes that you have been keeping, and it will make so that you can easily, whenever you want, you can change, you can come back to a previous state, or you can uh, or if you decide that I want to take it through two different paths at once, right now I'll make them I'll keep an option that either I may do this or I may do that. So you can even go with that option. Okay, well, all of this will be a bit confusing now, but uh, let's go a bit in depth with this. Okay, so first thing you must understand is that all this really plays an importance when it comes into large scale. Okay, so okay, well, let me share this. Okay, so now also Git will help you when also Git. Another reason why Git is used is that it is useful while working in teams. Okay, so that is there is a repository. A repository means just a file. Say you are working in team with another one of your friends. So in the you have your master, you have the main file, and then you and your teammate is working on it together. So now it should not happen that when you have made your changes and he has made his changes, say that to the same line, I and my friend have together made changes. It should not, finally, it should not end up as something rubbish in middle. That is, say if I at the same time, if you have used Google Docs, you will be knowing this, that if you and your friend try to make changes at the same time, then it becomes a mess, doesn't it? Try to change the same line at the same time. So to prevent this, that and to make it better for that people different when people in a team are working together, they don't overwrite each other's code. So Git is used. That is, your changes you can you make a copy of your changes, you can push it back uh, into the original file. You can make your merge your changes with the original file, and then the other person can also, well, we'll go in depth with this, but okay, so I'll start with a bit more simpler question. How many, okay, unmute yourselves and reply to this. What have you been expecting from this workshop? uh, Means why have you come here? Everyone can unmute themselves and tell.
To learn some tips and tricks of GitHub.
Okay, okay. Uh,
Yeah, if
so,
Learn how to use
we
GitHub.
face some
yeah,
running
so,
a program on VS Code,
I
as
have downloaded it, but I'm not able to use it.
oh, okay, fine.
GitHub was
Just
a
to
new
understand the basic
so I-
functionality of the GitHub and Git.
Please, you can demonstrate the working of a Git, like make a change and then show us how it is storing. That will help us maybe.
Okay, okay.
But I
Okay,
don't know what is GitHub.
okay.
भैया स्टार्टेड गिट बट उसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स आने लगे थे तो मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया कोई डाउट क्लियर नहीं हो पा रहा था मेरा
Okay, okay. Oh, okay. I had come with the impression that all of you would be just going with the jargon of a GSOC and that you will require Git and GitHub for GSOC. That's why you all came. Okay, so if you really so this way, I asked this question so that I can know in which direction to steer. So I'll be taking it more towards Git or uh, more towards Git commands, or you want me to take it more towards uh, you know a bit more abstract and into its applications in the real world and things like that.
Yeah, applications would be fine, I think.
Applications. We
कमांड
Okay, commands. Okay, so Git
applications commands we
Just the
already
basic
learned.
feel about it.
For all of us.
Okay, so you want, your aim from this workshop is that you being able
Commands.
to run Git commands, or you want to know about what is this thing called GitHub and why is it so this thing, or you want to know Git commands. You already know about GitHub, and you want to go into Git commands.
No, I don't know anything about Git or GitHub.
No,
Okay,
Bhaiya, I haven't started yet with the Git.
okay, so okay, I'll get. Okay, okay, so uh, okay, some of you have know about GitHub, some of you don't. Well, I'll go through everything. Okay, we will. Okay, I knew some of you must have joined because of GSOC, because it has the because it is related. Okay. Okay, so another one thing about Git is that it is not just used by developers. See, everywhere where you make changes and you want to better your changes, make your changes better, you will use Git. You can use Git. Like even lawyers have been known to use Git because there are so many cases that they are handling one thing, so they cannot exactly remember that what will they what so they cannot remember that in which direction they want to take up the each case. So what they rather do is that they create different branches of their case and they go ahead with it. Well, you'll know all about all these changes, but I will illustrate all of this with example. So we will go through it with example. Okay, so how many of you know about GitHub? Let's just go through the basics of this, then I'll start with the commands and everything. How many of you know about GitHub? Okay, most of you will be knowing. So yeah, so GitHub is like a code hosting platform. It is not just code, you can put anything on GitHub so that everyone will be able to see it. Now this is actually very much related with open source. So first I think I must say that why open source? Why should why is open source? What is open source? Okay, so now so first I'll start with open source. Now what is open source? Now open source is basically whenever you write any code, you make it open to everyone. Now say in my laptop, currently this code is in my laptop, and unless I send the file to you via email or WhatsApp, you won't be having access to it, right? Now what will happen is, if I want to make it open source, I'll put it on some site, like on some code hosting repository like GitHub or Bitbucket or these such websites, as you may say. These are there for this purpose, that if you want to make any of your code or any of your file uh, visible to everyone, then you can do it on their website. So and then why is open source this thing, that open source is to make your code or your files open to everyone? So why is this so much known? Why is it so much important? Can anyone tell? I mean, why does open source even exist? Why will I make my code open for everyone? There are organizations who have their code open source, and you won't be knowing other organizations that have their code open source. There are so many of them. Do you know that? Basically, if you'll see every top company, it has something or the other that is open source in it. Okay, like how many of you use Windows? Most of you will be using Windows. And how many of you have? Hello. Yeah. So okay, so I'll just tell about why is open source necessary. If you'll see, then the quality of open source software, okay, it is much better than those which are not open source. That is, when you are keeping anything open source, it is open to everyone to view, access, and edit it. Okay, it's not that he can edit it, he will have to take your permission, as in he can see your code easily. Okay, so now let me open my GitHub doc. Okay, so 1 second. So yeah, so like this is my GitHub page, and so all of these projects that you can see here, all of these I have made open source. That is, all of this I have kept.
You
Hello?
cannot see screen.
Okay.
Yeah, your screen is not visible.
Okay, now is it?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Yes.
Okay.
It is visible now.
So see, now this is my GitHub. This is my GitHub profile. Okay, so all of these are the projects that I have kept open source. Okay, so now what is so now when I'm keeping them open source, I'm saying that these are my code that I have, these are the projects that I have made, and anyone who has a GitHub account, he can open and see any of my repositories, and and if he finds that something is missing or something is wrong, then he will propose a change. He will say that this code can be made better here and here, and if you'll do this, it will help you more. And if someone has an says that uh, there is you can have something, say that I have my website. Okay, well, let me open my, okay, I can't open my website here, one second. Okay, well, we'll come to that later. So now, so someone can tell me that through GitHub here, that he can tell me that you make this change, it will be better or whatever. So now also another one thing is that so what will happen by this? The quality of the code will improve. Okay, so now usually if you'll see, then do you, kernels of, so how many operating systems do you use? One is Windows. Hello, whoever is that, please keep your mic down. So one is Windows, another you will be knowing is Linux, another will be uh, Apple, that is Mac operating system. So now amongst these three, Linux and Mac operating system, they have their source kernel. That is, their kernel is open source, is open sourced. That is, they, and if you'll see also, if you'll compare the quality of Windows to Linux and Mac, then you'll see that Linux and Mac, they have better quality of code, a better quality of operation as compared to Windows. Okay, so mostly generally, if you'll see, open source in open source softwares are way better than, perform way better than just uh, normal software that is, or that is kept by companies. So, now and another one reason why open source is so much prevailing, okay, is that now say if there is a company that now every company, it doesn't have all the tools that it will require for its production. Say that Microsoft, it will require a few Microsoft will require some uh, some IDE. It will require some software for its testing. Now Microsoft does not have all the software that it will require for its production. So what it will do is it will go to another one company, and it will ask for that software, won't it? So now why now and it will, and then Microsoft will run its data on that software. Now what will happen is that data is very much essential in large companies, right? Isn't it? So what will happen is that these companies, they don't want their data to be misused. Now if Microsoft is using some application of Google, some software of Google, Microsoft needs to make sure that Google is not taking their data through the through the software. Google is not extracting any data. So for that, what Microsoft will want to do, it will want to make sure that such a thing is not happening, obviously. So what, this is where open source comes in. If the code for the software is open source, it means that nothing is wrong in it. Means there is, because if there would be anything wrong, then it would be in front of everyone, right? So now open source softwares are things that have a special kind of trust with them. So now you'll see that like right now sorry, right now the a hot issue is that WhatsApp is taking our data, isn't it? So now mostly people have shifted to Signal and Telegram. And why have people shifted to these uh, two apps? Because they are both open source. Now, open source meaning they are trustable. So that is why they, because that source code is open to everyone. So it is sure that nothing is happening behind the scenes. Okay, and why we students need open source? Because we can accelerate our learning. We can better our code, we can see others' code and everything. Okay, so this was all about the introduction and everything. Now let's get started. I'll cover I'll cover one. I will do it through an example of GitHub pages. Okay, so so what we'll be doing is we'll be building a website of our own right now. Okay, everyone, is that are you excited? Like, let's do it. Build a website. You can build it together right now with me. Your own website. If you have a GitHub account, just put a just raise your hand or put a OK in the chat box. Okay. So let's start. So now, okay. Wait 1 second. I have created a temporary repository here, GitHub account. You may just see it right now if you don't have a GitHub account. 1 second, I'll delete this. Okay, so first of all, let's get started. We'll make a new repository on GitHub. Okay, that is, click on new repository. Repository is just a place where you can write code and store code for everyone to see. Okay, so now I'll make my repository name. Let's just call it site. Okay, if I want to make it public or private, hello. Yeah, so I'll just keep it public. If I want to add a readme file is not so necessary. It is just that anyone who comes to see your code, he should have an idea of it. Means what the repository is doing, what the code is doing. Okay, so I just built initialized a repository here. So now what I'll do is I will now try to make it a live website that will be available on the internet. Okay, so now what I'll do is I will go just to my home page and okay, how many of you know about terminal? Yeah, you'll have to create a new repo. So how many of you have used terminal? Okay, so not many of you have used terminal. Okay, so okay, but you will be requiring to use terminal for this. Okay, so just go to your home, just go to any directory, and then what you'll have to do is you'll have to now see the repository that was here is a bit of code. It is supposed to hold some code here. Now this code I cannot write directly here. I'll have to write it somewhere on my local machine, and then I'll have to push it. Okay, so now like here I have my code. Okay, so I'll just copy my code. Okay, well, because I'm starting everything from start. Okay, so now here what I'll be doing is now the code that was there on my GitHub, how much so ever this is. Okay, I will get it. I'll create the repository in my local machine, in my laptop. So what is the command for that? Git clone and then the URL of the website. Okay, this is just the basic ones. You can, there are more details to it, SSH and SSH. Okay, well, so let's just clone. So git clone and then the URL of the repository that I want to make as my website. Okay, so after cloning, okay, so it's done, it has cloned. And now if you'll see here, there is a site, the site named one repository, a folder has also come, which has the same name, which has all the files. There was a readme file, if you recall. See here, there is a readme file, which is also copied here. So now I will add my code, whatever I wanted, into it. So I will, all of you will learn web development soon. Okay, I mean, you may not learn, but okay. You will require web development for this. Himanshu here. Let it just be this. This will be my code that I will want to put on my server. So now I will. So now after I make changes, now I will see what changes have I made. So git status. Okay, well, okay, cd site. So git status. So now you'll see that index.html, the file that I just created, that is there in red color, which means that I have it means that I have not yet added them into my repository. That is, I have not yet decided whether I want to add it into my repository, which I will include, or I will not include it. Okay, so now let me go ahead and add git add. The command to add is git add and then the file name index.html. Okay, so now again I'll run the command git status. So again the file index.html, now it is in green. So when it is in green, you can know that it is ready to be put on my server, that is on my GitHub repository. Okay, and further from my GitHub repository, I can put it live onto the internet. Okay, so now git okay, so git commit. So now what is git commit? You don't need minuses. Git commit is something that you are saying that, okay, I have fixed it, now I want to make this change. Means the changes that are shown in green color, that is the index.html that I have made as a new file and all the code that is there in it, whatever is there in green here, that I am going to add into my repository. Okay. Okay, so git commit and some message with it, that is initial heading. Okay, so you can see the message here, initial heading, and then one file changed, 11 insertions. You can see 11 lines are there here, and it has created a mode of index.html, which means now I can directly put it into my server. Okay, so now let's go to the terminal. Web dev. Right. Okay, so now I'll put it onto the onto my GitHub repository, that is Git Push. Okay, means that is now pushing it up. So my GitHub username development begins. This, by the way, development begins actually is not my GitHub profile name. It is a temporary one that I made. I just entered my password, and yeah, so it has put all the changes into the Git repository of mine. So now if I'll come to my GitHub repository and I'll refresh, then I can see that my index.html, it has come here. Now I have to make it, now it is there on this, now it is there on GitHub. Now I want to make it live meaning a website of my own. Means, yeah. So well, you will have to go to settings. You can see here settings, and then you will have to scroll down. Features, you will have to go across that, and GitHub pages. You will see something named GitHub pages. Then source is from which is the code that you want to keep as the uh, as your GitHub page. Okay, so the branch, keep it as main. Okay, we won't go much into detail with this, and then save. Okay, so now now I got the message GitHub pages source saved. Okay, so now if I'll scroll down, and here I'll get a message, your site is ready to be published at https development begins github.io/site. Let me click on this. See, Himanshu here. So now everyone, okay, I'm just pasting this thing on the to just to prove that it is there actually on the internet. Okay, what is terminal? Okay, so see, like terminal is a place from where you can control everything in the computer. See now, if you have been using Windows, then see most of the things how you control will be by seeing mostly you will be doing your processes by uh, by the UI, by the UI. But behind the scenes, what actually happens? Yeah, PowerShell. Yeah, yeah, PowerShell kind of is the same, but I haven't used Windows much. I use Linux, so I don't really know if PowerShell is the same. Uh, so what actually is that the UI interface in Windows, finally it routes back to this only command line interface, and then it executes all of them. Yeah. You can use Git Bash. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you'll have to download Git first. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. You'll have to download Git. Uh, is Linux mandatory? No. Linux is not mandatory. In fact, actually, what you can do is you can. Okay. Linux is not mandatory for using GitHub. Okay, well, let me show you without using the terminal. How can you make your changes and everything in the code? Okay, without. But see, this you cannot. You can actually drag and drop files like how I added. You can come here and upload new files, and you can select your files from here like this. Say something like this if you want to myself.html. Okay, so like this I added a file and then I can commit, but then this is not what you will be doing this, because if you do like this it will become much tougher for you further. I mean, because when you will be handling a lot many a huge lot many files, then you cannot use this. You will have to use the terminal method. Okay, so anyone having any other doubts can please unmute yourselves and ask. And actually, I hadn't expected so many of you to turn up. I thought that I was told to keep it a bit basic, and so mostly give an idea of what these things are, what is open source, what is Git, what is GitHub. I did not go into the details of how and why you can of what are the exact commands, and there are a hell lot many commands that you'll be using, but these are the ones that I told you. Uh, Git add, git commit, git push. These are the ones that you will be using most frequently until you go very much into uh, production. You won't be requiring the other uh, commands of Git. Okay, but let me tell you, Git is something that is used at a very high level. That is not just at this, we are using it right now, but at a very high level also people use it. That is in cloud. If you'll go, that is not just developers use Git or GitHub, even analysts are expected to know about Git and GitHub. Uh, like my sister, she'll be in one of her exams for sitting for a cloud engineer. So no, for a cloud BDM, that is business development analyst. She was asked a question on Git. Okay, so it's not just developers who need Git, but anyone who is working in a company that is related to software, they'll have to know about Git. Okay, so Git is something, GitHub, and all of these things are something that you cannot avoid. If not now, if say throughout your college you manage without knowing about Git or GitHub, still you can, uh, you know, still you'll have to come to Git and GitHub. Okay, how to set up Git on Windows? Okay, well, actually time is up, and I was supposed to not give not go with the specifics of operating systems, but give you all an overall idea of Git, GitHub, and all of this. So, sorry, you can see there are YouTube videos on it, and you will be knowing about Git Bash, don't you, Shreyan? So you'll have to download Git Bash. I think you can get it on Git Bash.
Yes, bhaiya, I saw it on after searching on Google. It was
Yeah.
written Git Bash we have to install, but I did not understand like the setup process.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so you know, right? Okay. It depends on which site did you go to. This is the correct site that you have to go, and you have to download, and then as in Windows, everything is just executed just by the UI. Is it the one that you used, or did you go to this site? The site that I just put in the comment.
No, maybe I went to some different site because I did not know
Okay.
which one was the
Uh,
official. Try this one.
okay, about pull requests and forking. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that I was told just to give a very basic idea of all of this. Okay, so let's forget about this. Okay, so now forking. Okay, yeah, sure. So now say that there is. So I got my GSOC in Eclipse. So now, oh crap. Ah. So now, of course, what is forking? So now, when I said that you will be using uh, Git, so through when anything is on GitHub, when any source code is on GitHub, see, this is the repository in which I had contributed during my GitHub. So during my GSOC, and so if you look at its size, it has about uh, it has more than 1 lakh lines of code, okay, in it. So now, if I were to make some changes in it, if I want to make some, if I want to study this, what I'll do, I'll click on fork. Okay, so I'll fork it. That is, I want to study it, I want to make some changes, and I want to then again ask, and then the changes that I will make, say that in the original repository, in the original code, I saw that there is something better that I can do, which will help that repository out of just my pure heart. Means I just want to help them. So what I'll do is I will fork it. That is, I will make a copy of it, a kind of copy of it. Actually, it will be an image. It is just memory to optimize memory. I'll just fork it, and then I can clone it in, and then I can bring it into my machine like this. So git clone. Again, the same command, git clone this thing. So first what I did was on GitHub, I forked it, and then I have now cloned it. See, I cloned it, and then now you can see the entire uh, repository is now here. So this is about, so now when I now say I make some changes into this. So now this is my repository. Now I will make some changes and I'll put it back into my repository. Okay, like say that, okay, I'll just make a small change like this. Here, I'll say that, no, this, I want to remove this thing. That this thing, that these particular 2-3 lines of code are wrong. So I just remove them, or actually whatever the actual changes. So I will commit my changes. Okay, this I'm just showing something. Okay, and then now what I'll do is I'll open a pull request. Pull request just says that here I have made the changes, and if you want, uh, you may merge your changes. So I will open a pull request. I'll click here on a pull request. Okay, that is, see, so what I'm doing is that from my repository, that is development begin / SWT chart to Eclipse, I'll be opening up pull request. If I click on this, create a pull request, now it will open as a pull request. Okay, so now I will not create this pull request actually now, because it will actually open a pull request to them. Okay, well, let me create a pull request to myself only. Okay, so this is Himanshu, this is mine only, and I'm forking it. Okay, well, till that time, any other questions, anyone?
Excuse me भैया, am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yeah.
भैया मैं पूछ रहा हूँ कि मतलब हम सी मेक और मेक का यूज कैसे करेंगे, लाइक अभी मेरे को मतलब चेंजेस करने किसी एक फाइल के अंदर, तो मैं सब फाइल्स को बिल्ड करूंगा या फिर किसी एक अंदर चेंजेस करने के लिए किसी उस फाइल के रूट में जाके उसको बिल्ड करूंगा, लाइक आई वांट टू नो अबाउट यूज अबाउट सी मेक एंड मेक.
Okay, this is okay. So this is actually beyond the scope of this, but still I'll tell you. जिस फाइल डिपेंड करता है जिस फाइल के वो फाइल के रूट वाले जिसमें सी मेक है, ठीक है, उसी में बिल्ड करना है. यूजुअली उसी में करना होगा, बट अगर उसका लिंक है उसके भी रूट वाले सी मेक में, ठीक है, so you will have to build it there also. It is a tree kind of structure, if you get what I'm saying. Is that clear? I mean, it depends on your code actually. It depends on your project. Okay, so any other
Okay.
question? Okay, so see, I have made a few changes in this, and now so now you can see that this branch is 1 commit ahead. I just made a commit here, and it is showing that it is 1 commit ahead out of one commit ahead of Himanshu Balasamanta master. So now I'm opening my pull request. Okay, and I'll just create my pull request. And now the description that I have made some changes and create the pull request. Okay, so now if you will open the pull request here, Himanshu Balasamanta data structures algorithms. Now you will open the pull request, you will see that I have made some changes. That a pull request has been opened. You can see here pull request 1. So this is what it is. So now Himanshu Balasamanta, that is actually my other profile. I may look at it and I may say that okay, I want to merge this. That is what changes have been made by this account that the development begins. If I find it right, then I will merge it. Otherwise, I will not merge it. I'll just discard it. Any more questions, anyone? No more questions. Okay. How to set up Visual Studio for C++? Okay. Actually, I use Sublime Text right now, but I used to use Visual Studio Code. You can, okay, yeah, I have kept that also open source. You can go to it. So Himanshu Balasamanta, VS Code. No, not this one. See, this is okay. So as you can see, this is where I have stored my VS Code settings. First of all, you have to install. You'll have to install the GNU G++. Okay. You'll have to install the C++ compiler. That is for your. If you use Linux, then it will be GNU G++. If you use Windows, it will be Ming GW. Okay, so you'll have to first download that, and then the settings for this thing C++. It will be this. You can come here to this link, and you can clone it. You can clone it. That is, you can clone it into your machine, and it will help you in debugging your C++ files. Yeah, Aman Dhattarwal. I don't know about him. Okay, any other questions? If not, how to get? Okay. Yeah, our college has student. Okay, well, you people are quite advanced. I was thinking. Okay, so student developer pack. By the way, okay, so for those who don't know, you should really check this out. Student developer pack. Like right now, the website that I built. Okay, that you can see that it had a very ugly URL, developmentbegins.github.io.site. See, it is such a ugly URL. So you can make it something fancy like the one that I had made. Yeah. So see, like something specific to your name, like so that you can do it. For that, you will require something known as a uh, domain name. You'll have to purchase a domain name, and GitHub, the student developer tools for GitHub, they provide you 1 year of domain name for free. Okay, so for 1 year you can have your domain name, that is .live or .com. You can have it for free. So how to get student developer? That's easy. You just go to GitHub. You can just Google it out also. You will get it. It is just a very simple process. You Google it out, student developer pack GitHub. it will redirect you. You just follow the click next procedure. You will get a mail. In 2 days, it will be validated. Any other questions? No other questions? Okay, anyway, it's time's up. So I think we'll call it the day. Thank you, everyone. And okay, I wish I could have told something more. I mean, I went through mostly the basic stuff. Okay then, bye.
Thank you, Bia, for the workshop and the patience audience for keeping cool with the technical issues that we had in the beginning. And really, the first year this year is quite advanced. And since you are into open source and these stuff, so keep googling because that will help you a lot. You will get most of the stuff on Google and YouTube. So all the best. Thank you again, Bia. We will
Yeah,
love
thanks.
to host you again.
Oh, thank
Bye
you.
then. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.